Oh, hey, Calvin.
Hey.
Are you free right now?
Yep.
Do you have time to answer these 73 questions?
Of course.
Can you give me a tour of your campus?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So what's your name?
My name is Calvin.
And what do you do?
I'm a second-year graduate student studying biology at the Rockefeller University.
Where are you from?
I am from Queens, New York, but I was born and raised in Indonesia.
Queens in Indonesia representing. Is where you're from a reason as to why you chose your school?
Yes, so I had to choose between living in New York or Chicago, and I chose New York in a heartbeat.
Two big, amazing cities, so you can't go wrong with either. Since your school is in New York, are there a lot of students from New York in Rockefeller?
No, actually there's only a handful of us. Most of the students are from out of state or are international.
Okay, a lot of diversity. And where did you go for your undergrad?
I went to Hunter College, which is just a few blocks away from here.
CUNY representing.
Yep.
What was your major?
I majored in biology.
Okay. And did your undergraduate major play a role into deciding your major for your PhD?
Well, I don't have a major right now, but yes.
Okay. So kind of a leading question, but did passion play a role into choosing your major?
Yes, absolutely. I got hooked on research and I've been doing it ever since.
Amazing. How many schools did you apply for graduate school?
I applied to 12 programs.
Okay, that's a lot. Did you apply for graduate school right after your bachelor's?
No, I actually took one gap year.
Okay, and how was that application process for you?
It was smoother than I expected. It took about 4 to 5 months from applying, interviewing, and then getting admission.
Okay, pretty dedicated. Why do you think you got accepted?
Well, I had a lot of research experiences throughout college.
Amazing. And why did you ultimately choose your school?
Well, I really like that Rockefeller is very collaborative, which is one of the most important factors in a school that I was looking for.
Yes, and every student should be considering that. Did you get any scholarships?
Yes, and in fact, Rockefeller pays me to go to school, so I get a stipend from them.
We'd love to see it. Why did you decide to do a PhD and not a master's?
Well, PhD programs are longer, and I wanted that time to learn a lot of different techniques, to delve deep into my thesis, and I just thought that PhD programs are perfect for me.
Amazing. So what is your major now?
Well, there's no major at Rockefeller, actually.
Okay, so since you don't have a major, do you have a concentration possibly?
Yeah, so I work in a lab that studies microbiology, so I guess that would be my concentration.
Okay. And a little bit of an interesting question, but if you could choose another major outside of yours, what would it be?
Well, I am quite interested in politics, actually, so I probably would have majored in political science.
Okay, a little bit out the norm. Speaking of out the norm, were there any schools that you would have gone to if you didn't get accepted?
Well, my second choice was Northwestern University out in Chicago.
And looking back at it now, would you have chosen another school?
No, I'm perfectly happy here at Rockefeller.
Amazing. So let's talk a little bit more about yourself. What is your area of research?
Well, I'm studying how bacteria defend themselves against viruses.
Sounds complicated. Can you give us a sneak peek on what your dissertation is going to be about?
Well, it's not clear at the moment, but I'm studying one of these bacterial immune systems against viruses called CRISPR, and I'm going to study one of the 6 types of CRISPR.
Okay, time will tell. Are you currently working right now?
I am working full-time in the lab.
And what lab are you working for?
I'm working in a lab that's headed by Dr. Luciano Marraffini.
How many hours do you work for lab?
On average, I would say 10 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week.
That's a lot of time. What's the latest time you spent at lab?
Well past midnight.
And how many hours are you studying for your classes?
Well, right now I'm not taking classes, but when I am, I would say about 3 hours a week per class.
Okay. So since we know a little bit more about you, can we talk about your campus a little bit?
Sure.
How attractive is your campus, rated from 1 to 10?
10 out of 10. I mean, do you see this view?
And how many buildings does your school have?
Well, excluding the residential buildings, I would say there are 5 research buildings out there.
Okay, and do you have a favorite building?
the building that I work in. I might be biased though.
And speaking of favorites, do you have a favorite thing about Rockefeller?
Well, besides the collaborative nature of it, I think just the people, they're so nice, so approachable, and they make it all worthwhile.
Yes, people make your experiences.
Yeah.
Do you live on campus?
I do live on campus, just a block away from the main campus area.
And how was your experience living on campus?
It's great. It's very close to the lab, so it's very convenient. But it's nice that there's a separation between the main campus and my building.
Okay, so speaking more about your campus, how would you rate the food on campus?
Well, I would say they're pretty good. It's different kinds of food every day, so it really depends on the day.
What's the best food you've had on campus then?
They had pernil once, and it was amazing.
Okay, interesting choice. Do you know how many students are in your school?
I'd say about 200, 250.
Okay, so not that much. Is it hard to make friends or find a social group here?
I wouldn't say so. I think there are a lot of opportunities out there to get to know people here. And again, like, people are very approachable here.
Okay, so would you say that there's an active social life?
Yes, in fact, we have a bar on the campus where people like to socialize after work. And yeah, it's just a perfect place to hang out on campus.
Definitely sounds fun, and you definitely need to de-stress.
Absolutely.
Is there a sports team here?
No sports team, actually.
Interesting. Is there a Greek life here?
No Greek life either.
Pretty interesting again. Are there any extracurricular activities to do on campus?
So a lot of people like to be active. So even though we don't have a sports team, we do have sports facilities like a tennis court, basketball court, a couple of gyms. So there are a lot of opportunities to be active here.
Okay, speaking of activities, are you involved in any clubs or societies here?
Yes, I'm involved in the Rockefeller Inclusive Science Initiative, which aims to promote diversity and inclusion in STEM.
Amazing. And would you consider going for another degree? And if so, what degree?
Right now, no. I mean, PhD is a very long process, but you know, things might change. We'll see.
Okay, a little bit of ambiguity there, but you'll find out. Do you plan on teaching one day?
Yes, teaching is one of my passions.
We love to see it. And what is the stereotype that PhD students have?
That PhD students don't have a life outside of their studies, and that's just not true at all.
Yep, that is not true, everyone. A little more on the specifics. Is there a stereotype that Rockefeller students have?
Well, some people might think that the Rockefeller students are competitive, and that's just not true.
Okay. And what is your favorite class you've taken so far here?
I would say science communication, which taught me how to communicate science in a way that is accessible to the general public.
Amazing. And what is the hardest class you've taken here so far?
I'll say bioinformatics, because I'm really bad at coding. Now let's go this way, actually.
Would you say that the classes are intense or not?
I wouldn't say so. I actually find them very fun.
Okay.
And relaxed.
And just out of curiosity, how does the semester work for PhD students here?
So we operate on quarterly systems, but they don't really dictate how, we do research. It's just more like different classes are offered in these different quarters.
Okay, so you seem like a pretty busy guy. How would you say you balance your social life here?
Well, I try. Definitely during the weekend, I try to hang out with my friends. And again, with the bar on campus, like I try to go once in a while. People like to celebrate here, whether it is like, someone's thesis defense and things like that, or someone's birthdays. So I try to keep it balanced.
Okay, you get a good balance between hanging out and also doing your research.
Yeah.
So, how many hours of sleep would you say you get?
I try to aim for 8.
Okay.
At least 8.
Like a normal person. Can you give me 3 adjectives to describe your school?
Collaborative, rigorous, and fun.
Okay. And Do people in your program hang out with each other, or is everyone to themselves?
Well, you know, you could find different groups out there, but again, like, you have to, you know, expose yourself to these different groups, if you wish.
Okay. And what is the age range of the student body?
It depends. I would say, like, from my cohort, when I joined, I think the age range between like 21 or 22 all the way to 27 or 28.
Okay, so everyone is still relatively pretty young. Does Rockefeller have any rival schools?
No, I think we're too small of a school to have a rival school, but yeah.
And how often do Rockefeller students party in a week, you would say?
I'm pretty sure there's always a party going on. It just depends on, you know, who you hang out with, but I'm sure there's a party going on right now. Even.
Do you know if there's any unique traditions here?
Well, at the end of the year, we have this humongous holiday party that takes place across of the campus. It's a huge party, and a lot of money is spent.
That sounds really fun. Are there any famous or recognizable alums here?
Well, one that I can think of is this physician scientist. You've probably seen him on TV. His name is Peter Hotez.
Okay.
And he advocates for, you know, vaccine equity, and he's really someone that I look up to.
Definitely have to search him up. Do you have a favorite alum from here?
Same guy, Peter Hotez.
Same guy, okay. Have you seen any celebrities here?
Actually have not.
Okay, interesting. And what is the ratio of domestic to international students, you would say?
I would say about equal. I think it's more equal in recent years, actually.
Okay. And a little bit off topic here, but are students more interested in changing the world or making a lot of money?
Well, that's a tricky question. I think people are starting to realize that, you know, they need to be compensated more. They need to be paid a livable wage. But I think, you know, who doesn't want to change the world?
Okay, so the question thrown back at you, are you interested in more about changing the world or making a lot of money?
Well, why not both? Is what I say.
Do you think you met a future millionaire here?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of smart people that I've met.
So about Rockefeller, do you think it's under, over, or properly rated? It could be academic or social life, whatever you decide.
Yeah, I would say it's properly rated from what I've heard.
Okay. And what do other PhD students do on their free time here?
Well, as I said before, a lot of people get really active. You know, we're in the Upper East Side, so there are a lot of, you know, great restaurants and lots of entertainment around here too, and throughout the city. So, you know.
Yep, there is a lot to do in New York, I can say.
A lot to do.
And what are your career aspirations?
Well, right now, I think I want to be a professor.
Okay. And what do you plan on doing once you graduate?
Well, usually in order to become a professor, you have to do more research as a postdoc, and that might be what I'll do.
Okay. And what is the average amount of time it takes to complete your degree?
About 5 to 6 years.
Okay, we're on the 73rd question. Can you give us an elevator pitch to convince people to enroll at Rockefeller?
Well, if you like New York and if you want a collaborative space to do your research where you have a lot of freedom to think and do amazing science, this is the best place to be.
And that's the word of mouth from Calvin. All right, thank you for your time, Calvin.
Of course.
See ya.